Hey, it's Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Just got off a coaching call. I wanted to share with you something that they found valuable, and I was talking about the transformation. So, what I've seen happens most of the time is this is what people pay for. But let's turn this green, right? That's where the money is. Oops. But most of the time, we end up talking about the context. And I said the context versus the problem. Let's see if I can get this a little bit. Can I increase the font? There we go. The context is their current situation. It's where they are now, right? And this is important that when you're talking, when you're writing, when you're creating content, that they can see themselves in this context. But what happens less often is the path, that transition to the transformation. And this is where I think the opportunity was for this client I'll share with you. This distance right here, I call it the sales distance. So let's put a little note here. The farther this distance is, the more they are willing to pay you. And then the more they would rather be here in a transformation, right? The larger that desire, the more uncomfortable it is for them to stay, the more they'll pay you. So the farther this is from here to here, the more they'll pay you. And the more uncomfortable it is to stay here, the faster they'll pay you. Make sure I said that correctly. So this sales distance, you'll say, hey, how are we going to get you from this context you're currently in? That could be a problem. That could be a negative situation. It could be a good situation, and they're trying to get to great. That's fine either way. But what we want to do is say, hey, I'm going to help you cross this distance a little faster, a little smoother. And this is where we come up with the solution. The second thing I see, would I recommend this? Yeah, it's pretty good. The second thing I see is we talk a lot about the solution without really being clear on where we're going. We talk about how to get there, where we're going. So there's three examples I have. So the context is you walk into a doctor's office, and let's say another person walks into a mechanic shop, a vehicle mechanic shop, and the third person walks into a restaurant. They're all going to have their own context. We're going to ask them, as a business looking to serve this person, this is a client or future client, we're going to ask them, what brings you in today? All right? Why did you raise your hand and say, hey, this context that you're describing matches mine? I see myself in this. So we go to the doctor's office and say, hey, doc, this hurts. Maybe you're in the emergency room, right? All good things in abundance in your life, health, wealth, and all good things. But let's say you go into the emergency room, hey, this hurts. All right, that's my context. Let's say you go to the mechanic shop, hey, when I turn left, it makes a noise, but not when I turn right. Okay, that's their context. You walk into a restaurant, hey, we really want the best pizza in the city, right? That's our context. Now, there's a lot of solutions to get them from here to here. And each one of these has a higher level of priority to the individual. So we stay here too long, but we don't get here fast enough. We're not clear enough on the transformation. But in order to get here, we have to understand this context clearly. So what happens is, let's do this. We're going to ask some questions. And I really need a larger font. Thank you. And that's going to help us understand their context and recommend the best solution. So now I might say, hey, Show me where it hurts, right? Oh, it hurts when I do this. Okay, great. Maybe the mechanic drives the car. Um, maybe the waiter brings you a menu. And we'll say, hey, based on the questions I've asked, the context you described, here's the solution that I recommend. So go regress to here, right? I say, hey, you need to stretch more, and I'm going to give you the supplement it takes. So now your arm starts to feel better. Here, you just need a new, not a mechanic, right? Ball joint. You need a new, right? Just needs some lubricant. Now your car doesn't make that noise. Okay, great. Hey, listen, we're going to give you our New York style pizza, taking into account any dietary restrictions. We're going to recommend cheese and, we've got pepperoni. Vegan pepperoni for, the particular folks. Sure, why not? So we recommend a solution. And this is where most people stop. But what becomes valuable or even compelling, what's this? Is what happens after. And this is where the money's made. So now, because we offer the solution, because your arm was hurting, now you can play tennis again, right? You can go play tennis with your friends. Now, because your car isn't shaking or squeaking when you turn it to the left, it feels like when you first bought it, right? You're not stressed about your vehicle's safety. Now, the pizza is so good, you had so much, you don't even want dessert. And this is the transformation that we miss, that we don't emphasize. People really don't want the solution, they want the transformation. And being able to help them see the outcome, the difference from here, the context of the transformation makes them value the solution. And you'll spend less time convincing people and more time hearing yes. I'll dive into this deeper in future trainings, but I hope that helps someone hear yes more often.